It's quite an entrance, I think, here in this stage. So basically, I will talk about fintegration. So what is this? I mean, this is the answer to your prayers. This is what you have been looking for since this whole hype began. You know, this is to be a member of a cult, etc., etc. I would say no, it's not necessarily the solution, but it's certainly something worth thinking about. So, you know, in general, what is it that we are looking into? What are the issues that we try to deal with? We have heard all day, and we will hear tomorrow as well, how important it is to be working with fintechs. You know, really to indulge with them, get ideas, and be able to learn from them as well. But how do we actually do this? Being a large company or just being a normal company, how is this possible? So this is what I will try to say something about. First of all, you know, and I was just trying to change this slide. Hopefully here it comes. So first of all, this is about business challenges at the end of the day. This is about the challenge of you, how you are moving ahead, how you can transform yourself. This is the key here. And I have this slide saying business challenge. And why does it say that? It says that because I've been working with fintechs for actually quite a number of years, especially from the London hub and later on from the Copenhagen fintech hub, creating the fintech board and working with large companies, mainly banks, but also some insurance companies to work with fintechs. And very often the challenge is forgotten. So the business challenge is forgotten. It's all about getting great ideas. You go out and find great solutions, but maybe not for problems that you have. So this is something I will talk about. It's actually looking at the challenge. What is it that you try to solve with the fintech? So the balance here when you work with fintechs, and we heard that also before in the panel, is that very often the fintechs are coming with great ideas, they're coming with enthusiasm, and they are coming with another concept of time as it was mentioned by one of the panel speakers before. The concept of time is, okay, we're going to have the next meeting. All right, let's meet tomorrow. And you go, tomorrow, what do you mean? I mean, next meeting, I can do a quick meeting that will be in 2 weeks, you know, not in 2 days. So the balance is really to be able to work with them, but also to be able to work with them in a way where you grasp them, you're able to work and you know, get ideas and get sort of the zest and the spirit. But on the other hand, you shouldn't crush them either. It shouldn't be like an elephant trying to pick a flower and then it just flavors away. This good idea that you seemingly had, suddenly you put it inside and then everything crumbles. It's not able to be done. IT pops up and says, yes, but to get a server takes 16 weeks. All right, I don't know. I mean, they were just getting a server. They just passed, they went over to Elgiganten or something and they just bought the server. You know, it didn't take 16 weeks. It took maybe 16 minutes. Just as an example, there's many of these things. So how to deal with that? And what we are saying is there are several ways of doing it. We just heard about you can naturally do investments, of course. Of course you can do that. But on an overall, we have these 3 ways. It's kind of, you can have a farmer approach, you can have a follower approach, or you can fintegrate. And you can actually do everything, by the way, at the same time. But I'll just make some notes about the different approaches. The follower approach is fairly classic. So you as a company are saying, okay, we would like to be part of the fabric. We know we need to reinvent our business. How can we do that? Let's take a look at the fintechs and follow some of them. And by doing that, you can invest in a hub, maybe a local hub, maybe here in Finland there could be a fintech hub that you can do an investment in and follow what they're doing in the hub. So you get inspired from them. I mean, that's all good. And the investment is not extremely large. And at the same time, you can choose between a number of fintech companies and you can sort of sniff sort of the inventiveness and the zest of people that really are committed to what they do. As it was mentioned before in the panel, what the fintechs are doing is that they're working extremely well on a specific small topic. While, of course, you as a bank or an insurance company are working with a lot of different things and you have departments to deal with specific things, but even the department is probably more differentiated than what a fintech is doing, because a fintech could be working with just one small piece of work they need to improve. So that's a way you can do it, the follower approach. You follow what's going on. Another one is what what I'm calling the farmer approach. So the farmer approach is, yes, you still know that you need to reinvent your business. No need to argue about that. You need to do new things. However, you also know that it has to be on the inside. You have to get sort of the culture of the fintechs to be a part of how you work. Instead of doing long analysis and business cases and all this stuff before you make just one move, you will actually make the move immediately. If you can see that this idea makes sense, let's go do it, as long as we can do it in a small chunk. So you know you need to put it on the inside. So what you do is you try to farm them then. You try to farm in-house. You make an in-house hub, and then that's the way you can sort of farm good fintechs that will pop out, you know, like in your yard, in your backyard. That is also an approach. And you have the good thing that it can actually challenge the existing business. So now you get them on the inside, and you can begin to see that they actually took very little time on doing a specific thing. What you saw before was it took, I just mentioned this thing about the server, but the same goes for publishing something or maybe getting the first pilot to work. You know, you're working with sprints, and you have sprints of 16 weeks or something, and in come the fintech, and they say it's not 16 weeks, a sprint is 2 weeks. And sort of challenge, you know, the way and the speed you work with. So this is basically goodness. The issue is, of course, that in many ways, this is not even close to perfect. So what are the breaking points? What are the issues with these two approaches that are quite normal? I mean, I'm sure that if you are sitting here as an insurance company or as a bank, you will be related to either sort of the follow or the farmer approach, which is quite normal. So the issue is that if you have the follow approach, there's a little bit of you can say, a darkness, of fogginess in all this. Because what is it really? You look into a fintech hub, and what you see is a number of solutions, and you walk around and you see, okay, this is a fantastic solution. Let's pick this one. This is perfect for how you can interact, you know, using some AI technology for a specific part of how you trade shares, for instance. A very nice solution for trading of shares using AI. But wait a minute, have anyone asked you about that specific issue? Is that an issue you have in the bank? Do you really have an issue with trading in the bank using AI? Maybe not, but it's still a cool solution. You know, so, but the issue is it's a little bit loose coupled. It's loose coupled. There's it's not easy to see which business challenge are you trying to solve. And when you look at the commitment, it's not very committing either, because you have not invested a huge sum of money. It's not like somebody saying, please get back with the return of this investment. No, it's not. Well, we are investing in this because we are from Finland, and we need to, of course, be a part of the fabric, and we need to invest in the fintech hub of Finland in this case. It could be the fintech hub of Denmark or whatever fintech hub either. And that's noteworthy, and it's worth doing it. But it's just worth looking at the directiveness of the investment that you are doing. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying be aware that this is not sort of solving the imminent issues as such. It gives you good ideas. And the same is the farming. So the farming is basically a good idea. It seems very good. Instead of having it on the outside, you can have it on the inside, and you can make hackathons. So then you can make a hackathon that tries to get a certain problem solved, and you can have a lot of people trying, mostly young men, by the way, trying to solve this in a very short amount of time, going from nothing to something inside a hackathon. But are you really sure that the best solution to this problem is growing in your backyard? Is that the best solution you can find? Is that something that has just been growing in your backyard? Because that's actually the assumption behind it. So, yes, again, very good ideas can spin out. And as an example of this one, when we talk about the backyard, some of the sort of the experience that we have in the Nordic market for this, also making hubs, is there was a company, a Nordic company, the other day. I think it's 3 weeks ago. They was talking about, okay, now we have this hub. What is coming out? This was an insurance company, and what was coming out was for instance a very good solution to do banking. Nice. I'm pretty sure that this solution works. It's not that it doesn't work, but is that the core of what the insurance company should do? You know, and another solution had to do, you know, with with another problem that was also on the outskirts of what this insurance company really was about. And that's because they are growing it like an investor company. Great solutions, great a possibility of being sold to someone else, fine. But is it solving the inner problems of the insurance company? Probably not. So there are issues with this. It's not directed at the business challenge again. It's more like solutions are popping up, but not necessarily, solving the problem as such. And then actually it should be transformative to the large business. That's the whole reason why you put it in-house. But what happens is that you don't want to put it in-house, because if you put it in-house, then it's getting crushed by how you work on the inside. It's getting crushed by waiting for the 16 weeks for the server, waiting 5 weeks or maybe 8 weeks for legal to say, yes, it's okay to write can instead of may, when stuff like that. So and they're just, what is this? This is a bank. You have to understand this is how we work in a bank. And the fintech company is saying, I don't get any of this. Yeah, but and now we have the GDPR, so you're probably not allowed to do. What do you mean, not allowed? I mean, this is something we have done for ages. Yeah, but they don't really know about the new legislation. Maybe it's like this, maybe it's like that. So to be on the safe side, we don't do it. This whole thing is a problem. So actually you put it on the outside, and immediately when you put it on the outside, what happens then? You have the nice garage. It doesn't come on the inside. So you have the CEOs, you have the C-level saying, this is what we're doing, it's great. But when you look at the actual solutions and how they actually have changed the inner working of the bank, in many cases, they haven't. There's not a lot of them that actually are working inside the bank today that has been grown in one of the hubs. So the hubs are great for fostering good ideas and actually for fostering great companies that can go out and be great companies, but maybe not solving a problem in your bank. So what can we do? We are talking about the best game in town. This is, of course, too much to say, but anyway, why not? Fintegration is another way of approaching the whole issue. So fintegration is essentially saying that we have 3 parties. So we are adding a fintegrator. So we have the company over here, with or without tie, a man or woman or whatever. This is a bank, this is an insurance company over there having a specific issue. We would like to be better at using our customer data. For instance, when we have a bank account and we have transactions going on, what should we do? What can we do with all these transactions? Is there something we can do? And in the hub or the pharma approach, you make a hackathon and you get a lot of ideas in and stuff like this. But maybe it can be done differently. You have fintech companies on the left that are able to do whatever. They work across the scale, and we just saw the presentation before. There's so many of them. It's in the thousands when you look at this globally, in many, many different areas. And then you have the fintegrator. The fintegrator might not be an external party as such. It's more like a role. Probably they're linking up to a third party. But it's a role where you, as a fintegrator, are really making sure that you are taking care of the actual issue that you try to solve. So it's not looking for what's going on, oh, this is a nice solution for how you do identity management. This is a nice solution for how you do payments. And this is a nice solution for how you can send, how you can do bot chats, for instance. All very nice, but is it concerted? Not really. But in this case, it's much more into the actual issue. If you are making a new product in the bank, for instance, if you go down to the product and you say to them, okay, you're going to make a new product tomorrow. So who are you contacting? Are you contacting fintechs to do that? Well, not really. But we have a huge fintech hub. Yeah, but this is, we need to get this done. We need to launch a new product. So this is, it has to be integrated. The idea is to integrate the use of fintechs directly into the business. So if you look at the steps, it's not that it's more or less the same steps. It's the idea still. It's a lot about the different ideas, but it's also about the challenge. What is the actual challenge you try to solve? I'm trying to use the transaction data, for instance, that comes when I do retail banking on my web bank or my mobile bank. That could be one challenge. Or I try to make payments using blockchain, for instance. That I would like to do that. The next thing is, of course, look, listen, find out what's going on. But again, this is on a global scale. So what you try to find are the global solutions. It's not just the backyard solutions. It's the solutions that are out there in the tens and thousands. And some of them are actually pretty good. And that's another point, because the fintegrator is looking for something that is proven, if you will. In many cases, what is going on is, let's say we have this issue about using the customer data. And then, okay, how can I do that? If I have a mobile phone, I was trying to reach for my mobile phone. My mic fell off. But this is where my mobile phone is. It is actually in the other pocket this time. But I want to use the data from that one. That's fine. What's going on? I will make a hackathon. I will try to make different solutions work. But actually, out there in the real life, there's a number of fintechs who already have done it, not just as an idea, but actually done it. They've been working maybe with Citibank. They have been working with one of the Chinese bank, and they know how to do this. It's a small, nice solution. It could, for instance, be Personetics, from Israel. A fantastic solution, but it's already proven to some level. So you can step in and get it to work immediately. It's not like you need to teach them what is really banking all about. What do you mean payments? We thought we had a good payment solution, but we don't know how the payment system works in banks. And what do you mean with the intermediate providers? And what do you mean with correspondent banks and all this kind of stuff? That's not something that if you come from the street that you know. So you need to teach them a lot. In this case, you are able to come in with solutions that have this degree of provenness, so they can really work from the outset. And then, of course, the same applies. You industrialize, you implement, you comply, you protect if something great has been happening. But it's very much this thing about being focused at the business challenge you want to do, the business development you want to do, and not call, I don't know who is in the room here, but not call sort of SAP or IBM. A good case is, for instance, that calling some of the large providers to work with blockchain. Why that? I mean, there are companies also here in the Nordic. Let's say Coinify as an example. Coinify is a fintech that has been doing blockchain payments. I mean, not experimenting with blockchain payments, but doing it for 4 years for small merchants. So why not use them? Instead of trying to invent them in a hub or something. So this is the point I try to make. So you as a you can get quick time to market it, because it's solutions that actually are working. This is saying discarding upfront investments. I mean, that's more or less bullshit. It's not discarding it, but it could be less investments at least, because you don't need to spend that much money on it, because we already have something that works to some degree. And it's, of course, aligned with the business goals, because you start with the business goal. You don't start with looking at fintechs. Oh, this looks nice. Let me see what's good. But you actually go for something specific. This is what I want. I want better use of my customer data, transaction data, in the case of the mobile bank, as I talked about before. That's what I would like, and then the solutions are found. And what you need is a fintegrator that has a worldwide reach, of course, that is able to do that on a worldwide scale, and they know what is going on out there. That's not something that you should scout. Of course, you need to do some scouting locally, but the global reach is very important. And for the fintech, of course, they will have also some good stuff here, because they can keep being focused at what they do and not be twisted. If they work with you and they are very, very small, as they normally are, and you are there, they are becoming a little bit twisted. This is what happens also in some of the hubs. They still get a response to the scale, because now they can work across the globe with this, working with the fintegrator on this, and they can still be flexible in what they do, of course. But sometimes, and this is, of course, I know it's provocative to some degree, but sometimes the hubs actually serves as a kind of an X-Factor program. If you have, I don't know if you have X-Factor in Finland, but it's kind of, you are coming in with great ideas, and then you are being you're sort of being moved and squeezed a little bit on the side, and then you need this better, and you need this, and you need this, and suddenly, you win the competition, but is that a good solution? Or have you lost what was really the great idea that you have in the meanwhile? Are you becoming successful because you are winning X Factor? Maybe not. So this is enabling you to have a more arm's length perspective to this. And this is what we see some of the financial institutions beginning to do also in the Nordics. So they begin to enable this. They begin to say, we would like to have a solution that can be fantastic when it comes to doing social media. For instance, if you want to do social media payments, I want to connect my bank to a social media, not just to one, but to all the social media. And actually, when the interaction is going on, I'm doing messaging and chat, because we all know that the apps are dying, as we probably already have heard. So when I do my messenger and chat, then I need to be able to pay. So can I do that across all social platforms? Well, I can make a big effort to try to make solutions and so, but I can also just use a Fintegrator to say, yes, that solution already exists. So let's take that solution, bring it in. That's actually also from Israel in this case. Bring it in and let's work it. I mean, this was what a Norwegian bank was doing, and it works nicely in the marketplace today. It's actually a solution that works. You know, it's not on the outskirts as a pilot. So the last thing I wanted to say was just this: that is organized for Fintegration. You know, think about, let's make sure that there is a piece of what we do when we deal with fintechs that is based as a Fintegrator. So we have a unit, we have somewhere where we are saying these guys are the ones to contact. So you're not necessarily reaching out to SAP or reaching out to a solution provider, it's Temenos, T24, whatever solution provider, or to IBM or Accenture, whoever. But you actually are incorporating fintechs as a direct part of what you do. Of course, that can be together with one of these third parties, of course. But it's just that it should be linked directly to the business problem that you try to solve, and not just be a display of issues. And there are Fintegrators out there that has this global reach that are able to tell you, how can I solve this specific issue and not reinvent the wheel? So we're not repeating sort of the dot-coms of the 2000s. So yeah, that's what I want you to think about, and that's all I had to say. And then I have this strange guy looking into this. I still don't know exactly why he's looking into a virtual reality screen, but anyway, that was it. Any questions?